Hey everyone, this is Dawn and welcome back to my channel. So tonight I'm going to work on my project for the Crafty Dares, hashtag Crafty Dares over on Instagram. I've been part of this small group for, gosh, a number of years. It is hosted by Tina at Tell Him Thank You. And generally 3 of us are in the group, myself and Joyce over at Creating Life After 60 and Scrap and Tea. And we have 3 prompts given to us, and then we post our project on Fridays. So this week our prompt is green, a die cut, and fabric. So I was going through, actually when I was working on the junk journals, I found, I think I must have ordered this a long time ago on Etsy. And we're talking, oh gosh, I barely even remember ordering it. And I think, I don't know if the seller is still on Etsy, Rejoice Studio AZ, vintage and repurposed goods. But I had, there was a few pieces of fabric I'd found in this bag. This was another one of them with the greens, but I really love this floral, and with all the leaves, I think that'll give us enough green in our project. So I decided I wanted to use this as my fabric for this week. And then we went to Cracker Barrel, I think it was, over the weekend, and my mom had bought some earrings, and this was a little paper bag that they were packaged up in, and this is roughly not quite 8.5, maybe 8.25 by about 6.5. And just love the sound and the feel of the bag. And I thought about maybe making a little bit of a journal, something very simple. So I actually have cut down a piece of white cardstock, just a little smaller than the bag. And I'm going to slide it in here just to reinforce it and use this as the base of a simple little journal. And then it does have a pleat on each side, and then the edge of it is rounded. So what I thought I would do is just tuck this rounded edge right in. And I was deciding if I wanted to glue the cardstock in, but I think if I just add a bead of glue to this edge holding in this edge onto the cardstock, I think that will be fine and just give us the reinforcement we need, and it's not really going to move around on the inside much. So this is probably going to be a 2-part video. I'm just going to make the cover tonight, and one of my elements is die cut. I'm not entirely sure what that's going to be yet. And then I'm going to do a very simple insert. All right, and I'm using Fabri-Tac, so just got a little bead of glue. And then this will make a little pocket. And then I was deciding, well, let me cap that off. I was deciding on, I wanted to use this large rose here as a more prominent position, and I was deciding on what I needed to cut off of this fabric or trim down. And then I realized when I turned it, it's about the same size as this bag, which again is roughly about 8.25 inches. So what I think I'm gonna do, this is probably quite unconventional, but I mean, it's paper and it's fabric, so I think I'm gonna glue this down. And I was also looking at this piece of fabric here too. It's from Tracy Fox Creative, and right here it says Love Junk Journals Framework Random Inklight Ephemera. So I guess that is the name of this design, but I really like that Love Junk Journals, this printing right here, and I wanted to use that as part of the cover as well. So I think what we're gonna do, no, this is what we're gonna do. I'm not gonna wrap it around. I think I'm just gonna glue this right to the front, and then this is probably gonna fray a little bit, but I think where it's glued, it'll probably stop the fraying, and then I might have some fray check or something around if I want to deal with that. But it's a junk journal and it's gonna be simple. So, And then I think I can just wrap this around to the other side. And I'm thinking I'm going to make this a pocket here. So, all right, well, let's stop talking about it. And I'm going to go ahead and start gluing. And do I want this to be the front or the back? I might put the pocket in the back. Yeah, okay. So we're going to go ahead and glue. It seems like counterintuitive to glue it the direction I am, but it kind of works perfectly. And I really, it would probably be very basic trimming if I need to trim anything off at all. So I'm kind of excited about this. All right, I'm going to be pretty liberal with the glue. Probably a matte medium or something like that would be pretty good. And I know there's some creases. The fabric has been folded up a long time, but I think once it's all glued down, I don't even think you're going to notice. And again, it's a simple little junk journal. Okay, this is pretty well glued. Okay. That's a lot of glue. Hopefully it's not too much. Ooh, and you can smell that acetone. Wowee. Don't you love the sound of that bag? Pretty cool. And I don't know what made me want to do a junk journal. And right now you can kind of see some of this glue showing through, but I think it's going to dry just fine. So there is just the tiniest bit hanging over here. And I may or may not trim that off. Not bad at all. And if we do have to trim a little bit, not bad at all. Okay, let's go ahead and continue then right over to this side. And I don't think it's going to cause any issues. Yeah, and then it's just going to fold, and then we'll make our pocket. This will be upside down, but that's fine. That's fine. I was gonna think that I could just cut it off and make it so it's straight, but I like the idea of just having it one piece. And oh, and you know what? With this here, okay, I got a little bit of glue right here. I think I'm going to glue here because it's not going to go all the way down to the bottom. Okay. And then here. All right, let's get a little bit of better coverage. All right, let's see how this will do. Sorry, I'm coming off the screen a little bit, or off the frame. All right, I'm gonna add a little more glue. There's a little bit of a section where I could use a little more in between. Okay, whew. I think tonight we need a well-ventilated area. All right. All right, look at that. So that was actually pretty simple for covering a little bit of a journal. And I think I will trim this just a little bit. I actually have some fabric scissors. I try to only use them for fabric. So far, so good. Pinking shears could be good too, but I'm not going to be that precious about it. And I'm terrible at trimming straight, so yep, terrible. All right, and I was gonna, you know what, I don't really mind some of these strings hanging off. I think I'm gonna trim it up a little bit because it's gonna still just fray some more, but that's okay. Just these ones are a little bit excessive. All right, do I want to trim any over here? I think really not. It's just the tiniest bit, and I think I'm just gonna leave it like that. All right, that was way easier than I thought it was gonna be. And then let's go ahead and make a pocket here. So I picked up a paper pad the other day and it was sitting here. I showed it on a small haul. I got this Vicki Boutin pad at Joann's, and I liked the color of this green page. And then I also, this is a Maggie Holmes, the Bloom collection has always been my favorite, which is I think one of her very earliest ones. There might be one or two earlier, but Bloom, I liked this paper too. But I think this is nice and vibrant with these leaves here. So let's see, where's my ruler? I just had it. We'll make our pocket here. Oh, let me make sure I did not glue my pocket closed. That would defeat a bit of the purpose. Okay, yeah, it had the tiniest bit closed, but that gives us a nice little pocket here. Oh, there's a little bit of glue right here. Okay. Yeah, so that gives us a pocket, and that'll be in the back. I was going to put it in the front, but I like the idea of it being in the back. And I could put probably another piece of paper in here for a little bit more stability, because it is pretty soft. Maybe the pocket will help us. All right, so let's see. This is about 6.5 inches. And do I want to make about a 3-inch pocket? 3.5 I think is too high, maybe 3 1/4. All right, let's go ahead and trim this down 3 1/4. All right, and I like this darker side because it is got some variation to the color. So let's do 2, 3, 3 1/4, I think. Let's try that. And then, what did I say, how long? Let's trim it by 8 inches. Looking at the coloring on both ends, I don't think that matters. So let's trim this at 8 inches. Might have to trim a little smaller, but we shall see. Oh, I hear the race cars. I don't know that you'll hear them. I actually do live in Daytona Beach, and it's the Daytona 500 this weekend. And I don't know how far we are from the racetrack, maybe 2 miles, but you can hear that sound everywhere. Probably qualifying, practicing. Let's see. All right, let's fold this in half. Oh, I like the ledger on the back of this paper. All right. Does make it. Okay, I'm going to trim the tiniest bit off of this edge. Let's make a little mark. And then this end seems to be pretty good. So, okay, one more little trim, and then we're going to glue in our pocket. I'm going to trim it just on the side of that mark. And then I think that's a good size for a pocket. Maybe I want to take, you know what? Maybe I want to take off 1/4 inch still. I'm thinking it might be just a little bit too tall. So maybe 3 inches was best. But sometimes you don't want it to be too short. So I'm going to cut it a little longer than, you know, you can't add it back on once you cut it off. But you could start over with another piece of paper, which, you know, sometimes we can do that too. All right, so see a little bit of the green hanging out here on the back, which again, it's going to be a simple junk journal. So, all right, we're going to leave the top open and glue this down on 3 sides. So I've got my fabric element and I've got my green element, and I got to figure out what my die cut's going to be. I do have these Tim Holtz stems, which might be good, but oh, I might have some letters to cut out to make the word journal. I don't know, I got to figure out the die cut part. to finish off the cover. At least yeah, that's where I'm thinking I'm going to do it. Or I can get some die cuts out for a, oh, like some simple tags or something like that to go on the inside. All right. I did not trim that very evenly. Again, I am the worst at trimming straight, and especially when it comes to the fabric, but let's see if we can neaten it up a little bit more. Some folks that say, oh, just let it be. I'm not a just let it be person. I tend to be a little bit more of a perfectionist. And what I might do is, these are definitely a little more raw edged. I'm wondering if I want to do some trim, or I could do some washi tape, maybe some, I might have some fabric tape, but I'm going to think about that. I could finish off these edges. And here, this one is the non-pocket. Could actually just end up gluing this together. But anyways, I think we're going to come back for a part 2. Oh, and you know what? Since this did have the little pleats, I'm going to go ahead and glue this closed. Let's see. This is going to be my pocket over here. Does that matter if that's glued closed? No, I think that's good, and it gives it a little more stability. So we're going to add some glue inside as well. And maybe you want to create yourself just a very simple little journal. What I'm almost thinking is, I don't know, I have some goals that I would like to do, some personal things, or maybe possibly write a Bible verse day by day or something like that. So this is where we're going to leave this for now. I'm going to figure out what to do for the insert, and I'm thinking I pulled out some green papers, might use this one, and then I do have copy paper. Standard copy paper I think is 20 pound, and I do have some 24 pound weight, so it's a little bit thicker, and I might trim some of just plain white paper down. Might be spritzed, or I've also got some ledger paper. These are great to pick up at like thrift stores or whatever. I found this giant pad somewhere along the way, and it's a great ledger, and so that might be good. And of course it's green. And then I also pulled out, I picked up an Easter pad from Joann's over the weekend too, and this has the green and blue and some other greens. So I think I want it mostly to be plain, but it might be nice to add some patterned paper in there as well. So I'm going to, like I said, stop here, and then we'll come back with a part 2, create our insert, and go from there. All right, guys, if you would, I'd love it if you give this video a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and I guess I will see you next time.